A cinematic macro shot of a single ancient patchouli plant named patchouli, featuring soft-textured, dull-toothed dark green leaves, nestled deeply in a thick layer of wet fallen autumn leaves next to a weathered mossy stone wall. Midnight sky over an English estate forest with soft misty moonlight after rain. Cinematic lighting, low saturation warm earthy tones with silver moonbeams, grounded atmosphere. High-quality realistic illustration, old European oil painting style, wide-angle cinematic shot of an ancient, abandoned English estate woodland after a heavy storm under a clear starry night sky. Thick maritime fog rolling over old brick architecture and mud-covered forest floors. In the dark foreground, a single detailed patchouli bush stands elegantly in the leaf litter, isolating itself from the central farm greenhouses. Muted colors, peaceful and deeply relaxing visual, macro perspective of the patchouli bergamot nestled deeply within the shadow of a decaying stone crevice. Tiny, crystalline droplets of heavy rain are forming on its textured dark green skin, reflecting the soft silver starlight. Dim, intimate lighting, wet yet secure environment, visualizing the grounding damp soil and rich leaf decay fragrance as a delicate ambient haze. High-quality realistic illustration, smooth deep shadows. A bright, high-contrast summer day in a meticulously structured English botanical estate. Professional harvesters in historic clothing are collecting rich herbal leaves into heavy wooden crates. In the center, the prominent patchouli plant patchouli is standing tall on a shady ridge, its broad leaves vibrating with dense essential oils. Sharp focus on botanical anatomy, desaturated green and amber sunbeam tones, dramatic but contained action. A cinematic close-up of rough human hands twisting and ripping heavy stems of patchouli and mint in a blurred background forest floor. Grounding oils and tiny crushed leaf fragments float in the sun-drenched humid air. The atmosphere is intense, showing a relentless commercial harvest of organic life. Low saturation warm colors, antique concept art style, emphasizing the heavy price of societal demand, the patchouli plant patchouli hanging completely alone in a secluded muddy wall crack during a faded, exhausted afternoon. The sky is a dusty pale yellow gradient. Around her, the forest beds are bare and devastated, littered with broken roots. She looks out onto the destruction, radiating a powerful sense of emptiness and complete existential burnout. Cinematic lighting, melancholy mood, medium close-up of the weary patchouli sitting motionless in the stone crack as the sun begins to sink into the Atlantic Ocean. The light changes to a low-saturation rusty orange, highlighting the fine veins on its thick serrated skin. The composition is entirely still, capturing the internal psychological shift from endless service to a desire for cessation. Realistic oil painting style. A hazy dawn over a crowded industrial greenhouse, a chaotic blur of overlapping overgrown commercial herbs fighting for synthetic nutrition and sunlight. In the crisp foreground, the patchouli plant patchouli remains hidden in deep dark shadows of a cold damp brick structure, facing away from the luxury central heating pipes. Muted gray-green tones, cinematic shadow play, tracking shot of dark, thick root structures of the patchouli tree forcing their way slowly and intentionally through tight cracks of a massive historical mud-covered stone wall. Earthy damp soil and microscopic fungal grains surround the path. Soft rays of a dying sun filter through from above, lighting up small dust motes. Peaceful, meditative, and focused, high-quality classical realism art style. A beautiful macro shot of the ancient, weathered clay brick block expanding its dark, textured shadow to cover and protect the patchouli plant patchouli from the high coastal wind. Safe and highly cocooned composition, ambient cool silver tones, visualizing the invisible grounding fragrance as a delicate warm mist. Cozy sleep aesthetic. Close-up from inside the wet rock crack, the dark green patchouli is curled up comfortably against rich peat moss. Her thick skin is bathed in a soft, filtering moonlight passing through the architectural cracks. The mood is completely secure, free from collective stress, heavy desaturated violet and timber color palette, premium artistic illustration. A somber, beautiful autumn landscape of the Old English estate under heavy leaden clouds and torrential rain. Heavy construction machinery and early steam excavators are tearing up well-kept woods in the distance. Muddy paths and burning wood piles create a dramatic, slow cinematic composition capturing the heavy collective momentum. Deep slate color grading. A dramatic close-up shot focused on a modern rusted metallic construction bucket resting near an old mud brick wall. In the wall crack, the green patchouli is seen tightly clinging to the dark earth, its rough leaves standing out against the gray stone. High contrast between the destructive human presence and the absolute stillness of the plant. A protective micro shot from within the deep wet masonry. While the noise of workers fades away in a blur of gray fog outside, the interior where the patchouli plant rests is secure and dark, shielded by layered rows of ancient clay stones. Soft ambient lighting creating a sanctuary effect. Deep cozy sleep theme, cinematic glow, the historical ruined woodland at midnight, completely quiet after the humans have abandoned the flooded site. The silver moonlight casts long, clean shadows of broken brick arches on the wet grass. The patchouli bush holding patchouli stands out beautifully, completely isolated from any future struggle. Ultimate serenity, film grain texture. An awe-inspiring ultra-wide shot of a brilliant galaxy stretching across a pure midnight blue sky over the ruins of an Old English manor. The mossy ground below is bathed in a soft luminous mist of pure grounding patchouli and rich peat scent. Deeply therapeutic and quiet illustration, designed to dissolve human mental anxiety and guide into deep sleep. Extreme macro close-up of the patchouli leaf crown resting its stem against the cold, comforting texture of a historic wet clay brick. Its root is fully loose and leaning, showing total lack of defense. Its textured rind has a soft matte look under starlight. Complete emotional release, high-end concept art for bedtime stories. A minimalist, highly artistic shot focusing on the slow, rhythmic swaying silhouette of a patchouli branch in the midnight damp forest wind. The dark body of the plant patchouli is fully integrated into the soil's geometry, melting into shades of deep timber brown and shadow. Total absence of modern stress, transition to pure rest, beautiful soft dawn light breaking through the coastal sea mist, illuminating the old ruined stone arch. On the damp soil below, a small pile of fallen dark green patchouli leaves forms a perfect blanket completely covering the resting base of the plant patchouli. Dignified realism oil painting. A dual-focus cinematic framing. In the distant blurry background, the modern iron industrial frames look harsh and metallic. In the sharp, warm foreground, the base of the sacred old mud wall provides a peaceful, rich mossy final harbor where patchouli found its absolute freedom. Muted historical color palette, comforting finality. A final meditative visual of an antique brown clay bowl on a dark oak wood surface, catching the very last amber ray of a bedside lamp next to a heap of dried dark leaves and damp moss. The entire image is extremely soft-focused, warm, and dark, inviting the viewer's mind to fully shut off. Slow black fade.